So welcome back everyone. Today we are going to learn about the anastomosis around scapula. Okay, so basically around the scapula, around elbow joint, around elbow and around the knee joint. So basically, sorry, knee joint. So basically, without any delay, let's understand the anastomosis around the scapula. Okay, first of all, let's talk about the scapular anastomosis. Okay, scapular anastomosis, right? Okay, so if let's make this is my scapula, okay, which is not a bit like this, but yeah, sorry, I will make a bit good. Okay, okay, so yeah, so if this is my scapula, let's talk. Okay, what is this is the my acromion process. Okay, so this one is the acromion process and this one is the spine of the scapula. Okay, spine of the scapula and acromion process. Then what I can definitely see is I have got the anastomosis around the body. One is called the body anastomosis, means anastomosis that occurs in the body of the scapula. Another is the anastomosis that occurs here, means what, acromion part, right? So another is the acromion anastomosis. So without any delay, let's talk about the body anastomosis. First of all, without going into deep, I want you to understand why scapular anastomosis is required. Why? You know, it is required because our axillary artery, that's our axillary artery. Okay, our axillary artery, since it's present in the axillary region, axillary region, our armpit region, okay, our armpit region, so it can get compressed, right? So basically it can get compressed. When it get compressed, our like our upper limb, our upper limb, like the radius, ulna, all they requires the blood supply. Still they need the blood supply. And how, and if there is no any collaterals, then this upper limb are not going to get any kinds of the supply. So in order to remove that disadvantage, what is happening is there is the scapular anastomosis from the body as well as from the acromion. That's why we see in the scapular anastomosis is, okay, first of all, write the name of the scapula. I will give you the mnemonic. Okay, so scapula, so there is the involvement of the subclavian, first part of the subclavian, and A means what, axillary means 3. So third part of the axilla and the first part of the subclavian artery are like anastomosing with each other. Okay, first of all, I would like to give you the schematic diagram of the subclavian and the axillary one. Okay, what is the subclavian? What is the subclavian artery? Let's see. Okay, subclavian artery, I want you to understand every single thing, not uh, without like leaving anything. So if this is my heart, wow, nice heart, and this is my arch of my ascending aorta, and this is my arch of aorta, and this is, and here you go my descending aorta. Okay, so basically there is the descending thoracic aorta and there is the descending abdominal aorta, and here is my diaphragm, right? So this is the T12 part, and there is the aortic hiatus. Great. So basically from my arch of aorta, there occurs the three parts that goes. One is the brachiocephalic, right? Sorry, brachycephalic, right? Okay, another is called the left common carotid, another is called the left subclavian. So let's write the name. What is this? Brachiocephalic. Brachiocephalic. What is this? Is the left sub, sorry, this is the left common carotid, and what is this? Is the left subclavian. Great. And do you know one thing, that this part, the beginning and the ending of uh, arch of aorta basically occurring at the angle of Louis. Okay, so this is the angle of Louis. Okay, this, what is this angle of Louis? Actually it is something like my manubrium, my manubrium, and there is my body of the sternum, and this part is the angle of Louis. Okay, great. Okay, now let's look about the subclavian artery. This subclavian artery basically, after originating from here, let's talk. Okay, I forgot to mention one thing. This brachiocephalic will give you two part. Okay, this brachiocephalic will give me two part. One will go up, that is the right common carotid, another is called the right subclavian. So this is the right subclavian, this is the right common carotid, like this. Great. Okay, now let's talk about the subclavian artery. Let's talk about the subclavian artery. Okay, subclavian artery. Subclavian artery, basically it origin is from where? Arch of aorta, right? Arch of aorta. And basically it ends in the outer border of outer border sorry it ends in the outer border of first rib. That's great. It ends in the outer border of first rib. Means if I make this, let's make this is my subclavian artery. Okay, subclavian artery. Okay, I will make a detailed video on subclavian artery in subsequent lectures. Okay, because the subclavian artery, okay, yeah, I need to tell you something. The subclavian artery, if it is like this, then it is like divided into three different parts by one muscle. Do you know that muscle? It is anterior to that subclavian artery, right? And anterior to this muscle is the subclavian vein. Simple. What is this muscle? This is the scalenus. Sorry, this is the scalenus anterior muscle. Okay, so this is the scalenus anterior muscle, and it is dividing my subclavian artery into the first part, the posterior second part, and the lateral third part. If I'm looking from the first part, where my scapular anastomosis happens, okay, where my scapular anastomosis happens, then I can see here is the one is the vertebral artery. Okay, vertebral artery. Do you know where the vertebral artery basically will go? Yes, it will go into making the circle of Willis. Okay, so basically it helps in the contribution, giving these two vertebral artery will basically join, will fuse to form one basilar artery, and that will ultimately gives the posterior cerebral artery and helps in the formation of the circle of Willis. Great. It will also give one artery that's called the internal thoracic artery. Okay, it will also give the internal thoracic artery. Do you know what does this internal thoracic artery helps in? So basically it is like the anterior intercostal artery. Anterior intercostal artery, except two. Okay, so except first two, it gives the intercostal artery. Okay, now here comes the important one, and here is the one trunk. Okay, what is this trunk? This trunk is called the thyrocervical trunk. So this trunk is what we understand is the thyrocervical trunk. Great. And this thyrocervical trunk, now let's see. Okay, let's see further. This is my thyrocervical trunk. It has got four parts, so it has got the four branches, let's say. Okay, to be precise, let's say four branches. What are the four branches? I will give you the mnemonic. Okay, so it is something like the Sita. Okay, Sita. So it will give the suprascapular artery, it will give the inferior thyroid artery, it will give me transverse cervical artery, it will give me ascending cervical artery. So what are these? Suprascapular artery, it will give me inferior thyroid artery, it will give me transverse cervical artery, and it will give me ascending cervical artery. I want you to understand that inferior thyroid artery, if it comes from the this thyrocervical trunk, then where does the superior thyroid artery comes from? And this please comment. Okay, this superior thyroid artery, even you can do Google. Yeah, right. Now let's talk furthermore. This suprascapular artery and this transverse cervical artery, right? So this is the suprascapular artery, this is the suprascapular artery, and this is the transverse cervical artery. If I have 1 2 3 4, this is the 1 2 3 4. Yes, these two are going towards where? Towards the where? What is this? Scapula. Means these are like these two, 1 and 3 arteries, they are involved in making the scapular anastomosis. Okay, means my suprascapular artery and my transverse cervical artery. Okay, now let's talk furthermore. Let's talk furthermore. Where was I? I was in the yeah, I was here, means in the subclavian artery, right? From the posterior part, there originates of the one artery. Okay, and do you know what is that artery? That is called the costocervical trunk. Okay, so that's called the costocervical trunk. That's what you understand, the costocervical trunk. Great. And another one is the dorsal scapular artery that originates from the final part. That's the third part. That's the dorsal scapular artery. Okay, if someone asks me what is the posterior to the posterior to this subclavian artery, you just go on saying them like there is the lungs, so basically lungs, the particularly the upper part of the lung, we call this one as cervical pleura, the pleural membrane, ligaments and everything. Okay, apex of the lungs is present in the posterior part. Anteriorly there is scalenus anterior, there is the subclavian vein, there is the clavicle. Okay, and also don't forget there is the sternocleidomastoid muscle can be seen. Great. Okay, so now this subclavian artery, after it crosses, so let's say this is subclavian artery, and after it crosses the outer border of the first rib, now we call this one as the axillary artery. Now we call this one as the axillary artery. Okay, what is this called? The axillary artery. Now let's talk further more. Now let's talk even more. Okay, this is the axillary artery, right? And axillary artery, like this subclavian artery was divided into three parts by the scalenus anterior, this will be divided into three parts by the help of the pectoralis minor muscle. What is this? Is the pectoralis minor muscle. Now let's talk more about the pectoralis minor muscle. So pectoralis minor muscle origin from where? It's origin from the 3, 4 and 5th costal cartilage, and basically ends or like it terminates in the coracoid process, tip of the coracoid process particularly. Okay, coracoid process. What is this coracoid process? Coracoid process is something like the beak like process, we see in the upper border of the scapula. Okay, and it is supplied by the what? It is supplied by the medial pectoral nerve. It is supplied by the medial pectoral nerve, and this pectoralis minor helps in something like the flexion of the arm. Okay, flexion, simple. Now let's talk more. This pectoralis minor has divided the axillary artery into one, posterior, two, and the three part. First is simple, that's the superior thyroid. Sorry, that was not superior thyroid. That is the superior thoracic. So the first part, from the first part there origin the superior thoracic. Okay, great. From the second part we see there is the origin of the thoracoacromial as well as the lateral thoracic. Okay, and from the third part there is the origin of the three, that's the anterior circumflex humeral, the posterior circumflex humeral, and the last, that's the subscapular. I used to remember like this at the rate STLAPS, means Saint Labs. Okay, whatever it is, just remember. Okay, you can remember this by making any kinds of mnemonics, doesn't matter at all. Now let's talk more. This thoracoacromial is divided into the, now it basically it divides into the four branches. Okay, sorry, it divides into the four branches, namely A, B, C, D. A for acromial branch. Oh, acromial branch. Okay, means it, is it involved in the this acromial, sorry, Is it involved this in this acromial anastomosis? Yes, it is. Okay, so it is involved in the acromial anastomosis. A. B stand for breast, but we do not, we call the breast part is something like the pectoral. So this is the pectoral branch. Then the clavicular, and then the deltoid, and then the deltoid. Great, that's awesome. Now let's uh okay, I think, okay, yeah. Furthermore, this is the subscapular, and this subscapular will again give me two part. That's the one is the circumflex what, yeah, scapular, circumflex scapular. Another is called the thoracodorsal. Great. So one is the circumflex scapular, and is called the thoracodorsal. Okay, I think with this thing now I'm able to like teach you, make you understand full concepts of the scapular anastomosis. So please make the concept that where it is, yes. So the first part of subclavian and the third part of the axillary basically will anastomose with each other, making the scapular anastomosis. But don't forget, yes, the second part what, yes, this thoracoacromial will also basically participate, but it is only in case of one. I will show you later. Let's see let's make the scapula again. You know my scapula is very bad, but please bear with me. Okay, so in the body, what is happening? From here it will come one. What is this? This might be coming from axillary artery. No, this is it coming from subclavian? Yes. So subclavian S1. So subclavian S1 has got four branches, namely, but there were only two basically participating. One is the supraescapular, another is called the transverse cervical. Great. So this is the supraescapular because it is coming from the above the scapula. So supraescapular. Another is called the lateral or the transverse cervical. So another is called the transverse cervical, has got the deep branch of the transverse cervical. And the last one is the important one, that's the circumflex scapular. Circumflex scapular is a branch of the subscapular, which is basically coming from the S3. This is coming from the axillary A3, axillary 3. This is coming from the S1. This is also coming from the S1. So what I was saying, yes, S1 and A3. Great. This is about the body anastomosis. Now let's look further more about the acromial anastomosis. So if this is the acromion process, let's talk. Okay, so let's make this is an acromial anastomosis. Then what is happening? This supraescapular will give one branch like this. Okay, that's the acromial branch of the supraescapular. So this is also S1. So basically from the, if this is axillary means axillary 3. So axillary 3 has got the anterior circumflex, posterior circumflex, and the subscapular has already given. Now it's time for the posterior circumflex. Will also give the acromial branch. And what I was saying is the acromial branch of the A2, that's the thoracoacromial artery. It has got the four part, namely A, B, C, and D. Okay, so what I was saying this, yeah, I was saying here. So namely A, B, C, D. So this acromial part will give to the acromial one. Okay, simple. Now the will give me this thing. What is this? Supraescapular branch, means acromial branch of supraescapular, acromial branch of the posterior circumflex, and acromial branch of the thoracoacromial artery. Great. What does this means? It means in the body there is the S1 A3. In the acromial one there is the S1 A1 A2. Sorry, S1 A2 A3. Simple, right? So this is about the scapular anastomosis. And look, for understanding in the book, what do you have understood is only this part, right? Only this part is what is like told in the book, but the remaining is very important, like from where it has came. Okay, so this is very 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 important to understand about this scapular anastomosis. So in the body, two arteries comes from the thyrocervical, sorry, two arteries basically comes from the S1 means subclavian part 1, namely suprascapular, namely deep branch of transverse cervical, and another is called the circumflex scapular, wherein the acromial branch of the suprascapular, acromial branch of the posterior circumflex, and acromial branch of the thoracoacromial artery. Great. So this is about the scapular anastomosis. Done. We are done with the scapular anastomosis. Now let's look about the elbow anastomosis. Okay, now let's look about the elbow anastomosis. Okay, I'm definitely going to make sorry, I'm definitely going to, like, demotivate you by making you see my drawing. What is this? I know how to draw, okay, but I'm not drawing. What is this? Is a humerus. What is this? Is a okay, radius. If this radius, let's make a bit thick radius, and this is my I know how to make, okay, please don't search. Okay, now what is happening, you know in the elbow, the principal artery of the elbow is called the brachial artery. Wow, the brachial artery. Now you might ask me, where does this brachial artery come from? Now let's see again this part. Okay, so this part again, sorry, where? Yes, so this axillary artery, after it crosses the lower border of teres major. So basically after it crosses the lower border of teres major, so this is the lower border, right? So after it crosses the lower border of teres major, now we call this artery, this same artery was the subclavian, same artery was the axillary, now the same artery is the brachial artery. Great. Okay, now this artery is the brachial artery. Do you know the two importance of the brachial artery? One, everyone will say this is basically for the BP, Yeah, BP cough is basically put over the brachial artery. Another is called something like the coronary angiography. Coronary angiography, leave it. Okay, yeah, this is important. Now let's talk more. Okay, because I want to talk a lot. Now this brachial artery will give its first branch here, which basically will go into the spiral group and basically comes into the lateral part, or basically basically it will like anastomos. Wait, so basically please forget about everything. What I'm saying is this brachial artery will give it first branch, that's name is the profunda brachii. Simple, it gives the profunda brachii artery. Okay, it will give its first branch, that's the profunda brachii artery. Now let's look about the profunda brachii. This profunda brachii, now what I was saying is basically moves in the spiral groove of the humerus. What is this? Is the humerus. What is this? Is the radius. And what is this? Is the ulna. Radius, ulna, and the humerus. Spiral groove. And now I want you to understand. Do you know another structure also moves to the, yes, it's the radial nerve. It's the radial nerve. Radial nerve originates from the where? Medial, lateral, or posterior cord? Yes, it's originated from the posterior cord of brachial plexus, and it has got the C5, C6, C7, C8, and T1 root value. Leave it. Leave it. I will definitely going to describe in the subsequent lectures. Okay. But for this time, this brachial artery, okay, this brachial artery has given the profunda brachii. Now this profunda brachii will give me two branches. Okay, so the two branches of the profunda brachii means this is a profunda brachii. It will give me two branches. Two branches of profunda brachii. Let's see what are the two branches of the profunda brachii. Easy. Okay, it is so easy to understand, right? What can what can it be? What can they be? You might think, okay, yeah, so this is in the radial, so it might be associated with the radius. Yes, it is. So basically its name is, I will say you, radial collateral artery. Another one basically comes from a bit middle, so it's called the middle collateral artery. Middle collateral artery. Okay, great, simple. Keep it easy. Keep it easy. Now this brachial artery basically will give its another two branches here as well. So what are these? What are these? Oh, okay. If it was giving something like radial, then it would have given something like ulnar. Yes, you are correct. So it will give me this brachial artery has given first is the profunda brachii. Now it will give the second is the superior ulnar collateral, and the third is inferior ulnar collateral, and the third one is the inferior ulnar collateral. Easy, easy, right? Now let's look about the brachial artery. This brachial artery, when it basically like reaches the head of the radius, so basically when it reaches the head of radius in the, what is this? This is, there is something like a fossa, right? There is the cubital fossa. So that's the cubital fossa. Okay, okay. Doing about the borders of the cubital fossa, I will say easily. Okay, so this is the lateral border is basically because of the brachioradialis. The superior border is basically a line basically passing through the two condyles, and the medial border is because of the pronator teres. Okay, leave it. And the contents are MBBR, means what? Median nerve, brachial artery, biceps brachii, and the radial nerve. Leave it. Cubital fossa. Okay, so I'm just doing, okay. And if you are looking for something like the superficial structure, there is the skin, there is the superficial fascia, there is the yeah, median cubital vein. Okay, so there is something like the median cubital vein. And if you are looking for the inferior, means basically very, that's what floor is basically formed because of this supinator and brachialis. Easy, keep it easy. Now leave it. Okay, yeah, where was I was here in the bifurcation. So basically at the head of the radius it bifurcates into two parts. One is this one, and we call this, so you might have guessed, one is the ulnar artery, another called the radial artery. Great. This radial artery will give me one branch, that's the radial recurrent. So it gives the radial recurrent, and this radial recurrent will basically anastomose with the radial collateral, means yes. So basically the radial recurrent will basically branch with the radial collateral. Okay, done. Then this ulnar will give me two branches. For one with the superior collateral ligament and another for the inferior collateral ligament. For the inferior collateral ligament, it gives the anterior ulnar recurrent. And for the superior ulnar collateral, it gives the posterior ulnar recurrent. That's easy part, right? That is so easy. Now let's talk more. We have got the anastomosis here, we have got the anastomosis here, but what about this? What was that? Yes, it was my middle collateral artery. I have not talked about the middle collateral artery. Let's talk about the middle collateral artery, how it is basically done. If this is my ulnar, this ulnar artery will give me one branch. That branch is called the, wow, that's the common interosseous artery. This common interosseous artery divides into posterior and the anterior. Anterior basically by by piercing that interosseous membrane. Okay, and this posterior interosseous artery will give the posterior interosseous recurrent or simply interosseous recurrent. Interosseous recurrent. And this interosseous recurrent will basically anastomosis with the medial collateral ligament. Sorry, what ligament? Medial collateral artery, which was the branch of the profunda brachii artery. Are you okay with this? Are you okay with this? Oh, a lot of the pictures, a lot of the pictures has been made. Okay, is it easy? Great. I'm done with this, right? Now let's talk more. Is there anything to be left to be discussed? Okay, now with no delay, let's go with the last one. That's the genicular anastomosis. Genicular anastomosis. Now again, you know about my figure. I will definitely going to make my femur, and here is the tibia, and here is my fibula. So if I'm looking it from the anterior view, this is my right side. Okay, so this is the right side lower limb. Now let's look further more. Okay, when my descending abdominal aorta was coming like this, it was coming like this, then basically it divides into two branches. Okay, so basically it divides into the two branches. What are these two branches? They are the common iliac. So they are the common iliac arteries. Okay, so they are the common iliac arteries. These common iliac arteries will again divide into the external iliac and the internal iliac artery. Wow. So it will divide into the external iliac and the internal iliac artery. Okay, this external iliac artery, when it passes through the, what is this? You might think it is the ligament. Yes, it is the ligament. And what type of ligament it is? It is the inguinal ligament. So this is the inguinal ligament. Okay, so what is this? It is a inguinal ligament. And when this external iliac artery basically passes this inguinal ligament, now we call this one as the femoral ligament. Oh, it's not the femoral ligament, it's actually the femoral artery. Sorry. Okay, now we must understand one important thing. What is this femoral artery? Femoral artery will give its major, very, very big branch. Okay, that's the what? Deep or the profunda femoris. Okay, or the deep profunda femoris, whatever you see. Deep profunda or deep femoris. Okay, it will give me this part. Okay, now this will again give me three branches. It will give me the three branches. What are these three branches? The transverse femoris, the lateral femoris, lateral circumflex femoris, and the medial circumflex femoris. So what are these? Transverse